Namaskar. Today we will see lateral ventricle. Lateral ventricle is cavity of telencephalon. The telencephalon gives rise to cerebral hemisphere, and cavity of cerebral hemisphere is lateral ventricle. As there are two cerebral hemispheres, there are two lateral ventricles, right and left. The lateral ventricle consists of one central part and three horns or cornua: the anterior horn, the posterior horn, and the inferior horn. Anterior horn is the smallest one. It extends anterolaterally in the frontal lobe. Central part mainly lies in parietal lobe, while the posterior horn extends backwards posteromedially in the occipital lobe. The inferior horn is the longest one. It begins behind the thalamus, first passes laterally and then inferiorly on anterior side. Posterior horn is the latest in development. It may be asymmetrical on the two sides. Sometimes it is absent. This is the medial surface of cerebral hemisphere. This is the corpus callosum, the largest commissural bundle. And below the corpus callosum, this is the cavity of lateral ventricle. Corpus callosum consists of four parts. Anterior end is genu, posterior end is splenium, and between them lies body or trunk. The rostrum of the corpus callosum pass backwards and downwards. This is the body of fornix, and extending downwards, forwards, and slightly laterally. This is the column of fornix. This is the thalamus. Between the anterior tubercle of thalamus and the column of fornix, this is the interventricular foramen or foramen of Monro. The part of lateral ventricle anterior to the interventricular foramen is anterior horn, and behind the interventricular foramen is the central part. The anterior horn is limited anteriorly by genu of the corpus callosum. Roof is formed by the body or trunk of the corpus callosum. Posteriorly, it communicates with central part at the level of interventricular foramen. The medial wall is formed by the septum pellucidum. Medial wall is formed by septum pellucidum and the column of fornix. This is the cavity of anterior horn. This is the coronal section. Roof is formed by the inferior surface of body or trunk of the corpus callosum. Medially it is limited by septum pellucidum and the column of fornix. And the floor is formed by the head of caudate nucleus, and most medial part is formed by the rostrum of corpus callosum. The cavity is lined by the ependyma. This is the caudate nucleus. Caudate nucleus is part of basal ganglia. It consists of three parts: head, body, and the tail. Tail ends at the amygdaloid body. This is the lateral ventricle. The head of caudate nucleus lies in the floor of anterior horn. The body of caudate nucleus lies in the floor of central part, while tail of caudate nucleus lies in the roof of inferior horn. This is the central part of the lateral ventricle. Roof is formed by the inferior surface of body or trunk of the corpus callosum. It extends from the level of interventricular foramen to the splenium of corpus callosum. The medial wall is formed by the septum pellucidum. And the column of fornix and body of fornix in the posterior part. The central part is related with thalamus. Thalamus lies in the floor of central part. Anterior horn is anterior to thalamus, while posterior horn is posterior to thalamus. In this coronal section, we can see the cavity of central part. The roof is formed by the inferior surface of trunk of the corpus callosum. Medial wall is formed by the septum pellucidum and the column of fornix. And in the floor, there are four structures. Medially, there is lateral part of superior surface of thalamus. Most laterally, body of caudate nucleus, and between them lies thalamostriate vein and the stria terminalis. The cavity is lined by ependyma, and in the floor there is a double fold of pia mater, telae choroidi, which contains the choroid plexus. This is the superior view. This is the thalamus. The lateral part of superior surface of thalamus forms the floor of central part. Laterally, the floor is formed by the body of the caudate nucleus, and between them lies thalamostriate vein and the stria terminalis. So these structures are in the floor. If we see the coronal section, the roof is formed by body or trunk of the corpus callosum. Medial wall is formed by the septum pellucidum and the column of the fornix. And in the floor, there are four structures. Most medially, lateral part of superior surface of the thalamus. This is the thalamus. And laterally, there is body of the caudate nucleus. And between them lies thalamostriate vein and stria terminalis. In the floor, we can see the double fold of pia mater. It is common for the central part as well as for the third ventricle. Between the two thalami, this is the cavity of third ventricle. While this is the cavity of central part. The cavity is lined by ependyma. In the telae choroidi, we can see the choroid plexus. So this is the cavity of central part of the lateral ventricle. This is coronal section. Roof is formed by the inferior surface of body or trunk of the corpus callosum. Medial wall is formed by the septum pellucidum and column of fornix. And in the floor, there are four structures. From medial to lateral, superior surface, lateral part of the superior surface of thalamus, thalamostriate vein, stria terminalis, and body of the caudate nucleus. And in the floor, there is double fold of pia mater, telae choroidi, and this fold is common for central part of lateral ventricle as well as for the third ventricle. Whenever we see the central part and thalamus, between the two thalami, we can see the third ventricle. This is the posterior horn. It is latest in development. Occasionally it is absent. It is often unequal on two sides. The posterior horn extends posteromedially in the occipital lobe. The roof of the posterior horn is formed by the fibers of tapetum. Tapetum are the extensions from corpus callosum. Corpus callosum consists of anterior end, that is genu, posterior end is splenium, and between genu and splenium, this is the body or trunk. The corpus callosum gives three extensions. From the genu, curved fibers goes towards frontal pole. They are called as forceps minor. From the splenium, curved fibers goes towards occipital pole. They are called as forceps major. From the posterior part of body or trunk and also from splenium, some fibers goes laterally and then downwards, and these fibers are called as tapetum. So tapetum forms the roof and lateral wall of the posterior horn. Lateral to tapetum lies the optic radiation. Optic radiation begins from lateral geniculate body and goes towards the visual area, that is area number 17. In the medial part of the floor, there is a swelling called as bulb of posterior horn. In the bulb, there are fibers of forceps major, and laterally in the floor, there is white matter pushed by the anterior part of calcarine sulcus. White matter pushed by the calcarine sulcus. This is the anterior part of calcarine sulcus, and this is the white matter pushed by the calcarine sulcus. It produces the swelling which is called as calcar avis. On the medial surface of cerebral hemisphere, we can see the calcarine sulcus. The posterior part of calcarine sulcus lies in the depth of visual area. It is an example of axial sulcus. While the anterior part of calcarine sulcus pushes the white matter in the cavity of posterior horn, producing the calcar avis. So anterior part of calcarine sulcus is a complete sulcus. It is an example of complete sulcus. We can also see the collateral sulcus on the inferior side. Collateral sulcus pushes the white matter in the inferior horn. So it is also an example of complete sulcus. So anterior part of calcarine sulcus and collateral sulcus, these two sulci are examples of complete sulcus. This is the inferior horn. It lies in the temporal lobe. It is the longest one. It begins behind the thalamus, passes backwards and laterally, and then downwards and forwards. In the roof and lateral wall of the inferior horn lies stria terminalis, the tail of the caudate nucleus, and the fibers of tapetum. These are extensions from the corpus callosum. While in the floor, there are two elevations. One is the hippocampus, the medial one is hippocampus, and the lateral one is collateral eminence. Collateral eminence is the white matter pushed by the collateral sulcus. Between the stria terminalis and the hippocampus, there lies the inferior part of choroid fissure, and through it the double fold of pia mater, tela choroidi, enters. The cavity of inferior horn is also lined by ependyma. So medial part of the floor is formed by the hippocampus, and hippocampus is covered by fibers of alveus, fimbria. Fimbria is continuous with crus of the fornix, and lateral part of the floor is formed by the collateral eminence. In the posterior part, the collateral eminence enlarge into a flat triangular portion which is called as collateral trigone. The cavity of lateral ventricle is continuous with third ventricle, means it communicates with third ventricle. Each lateral ventricle communicates separately with the third ventricle to the interventricular foramen or foramen of Monro. If there is any blockage in the drainage of the CSF, there is collection of excessive CSF, cerebrospinal fluid, leading to hydrocephalus. We can visualize the ventricles radiologically, and the procedure is called as ventriculography. If there is excessive CSF, it may press the brain tissue, leading to pressure degeneration. Thank you.